What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I'm going to give you a summary on what happened with Lucid, go over some of the data points, what shorts did, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So Lucid did close 1.62% in the red today. After hours, it's going up slightly, so 0.47%, but very little volume, so not much to talk on for that. Throughout the trading day, though, there was equally low volume, so 21.35 million shares were traded. 35.58 is the average. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. Only one notable one, and that was 3.96. All of the transactions right here, you can tell were sells based on the bid, the ask, and the selling price. So big money has not necessarily been getting in over the last several days, as you can clearly tell. Anything that shows a bid is a sell. So once again, big money has not been getting into Lucid for the last several days, which hasn't really been good for the stock because for the week, it is down almost 11%. So it has pulled back. It's technically still somewhat good on the technicals overall though. So I'm going to break that down in a second. But today there was no news from Lucid itself, no SEC filings. But then again, a lot of companies kind of go radio silent this week leading into the holidays. Which on a side note, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever floats your boat out there and whatever you call it. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Give yourself a shout. Did you buy today? Did you sell? What's your thoughts? But there's a couple of things that did come out unofficial to Lucid. So there was that interview I did bring up. Again, I kind of got some hate on it. I was not hating the interview on a side note. I really did like it. I like any interview, in fact, that has involves Lucid because it gets really Lucid's name out there. But based on this, there was more of a, I guess, reclarification. So Peter did say, I formally stated mid-decade or mid to late decade, and that's being completely misquoted as by the end of the decade to 2030. And I feel like that's being misquoted as a result of their, what was it, Q2 earnings, if I remember correctly. Their Q2 earnings, they did say late decade. So I feel like that was Sherry House to blame for that and her wording on that. So I feel like a lot of people took that as the end of the decade. So I feel like this is a good clarification from Peter to say it's not 2025, but most likely 2026. And that he does say that it takes about 3.5 years to do a car. And this upcoming mid-size SUV is going to be a very big Tesla competitor, or I guess mid-size line or whatever you want to call it. So I feel like that is a very good thing that he actually has for once openly said that Lucid is going to compete with Tesla. And I feel like the technology definitely has it there. Just Lucid needs to ramp up on production, but they do have several years. Hopefully not several years, but they do have time to really ramp up for that. But the fact that he did say this, that it takes about 3.5 years to do a car, this once again made me go back to this about the truck. So this one stood out to me. Clearly this is just clay, prototype, and whatever else. But based on this, which was their 2021 production and their estimates, it does show 2030 products and the planned pickup. So of course, maybe it actually might be sooner rather than later and not actually 2030, maybe 2027 potentially having a pickup truck. Although Lucid has never really come forward to announce anything associated to the pickup truck or any time frames other than this kind of alluded topic, but I do feel like that is a very good kind of estimate to assume based on what Peter did say. But I will go over some data points starting off with what shorts did today. So shorts did actually increase and they doubled down pretty significantly. So they increased to 5.93 million shares. So 25.63% of the free float is being shorted. 226.95 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 9.84%, and that is a little bit lower in comparison to Thursday. And right now there's about 5.3 million shares available to be shorted. I have said this in the past. I do truly feel that Lucid is being heavily manipulated. Lucid does not want to really go down that route where they start fighting with naked shorting, because then you just get memeified, if that makes sense. So by having and being classified as a meme, it completely just devalues any worth of your company. And Lucid is trying to be a high quality product. So they're not around just to fight with shorts and whatever else. Eventually, similar to what happened with Tesla, like Tesla just got the damn job done. Eventually shorts just left. That is probably what Lucid is assuming as well, but having 25.63%, that is crazy. Like other companies out there have maybe 15% short interest and they don't produce a damn thing. So once again, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of stuck in limbo, right? It really is hard to see coming from an investor standpoint, just a lot of manipulation, but bigger picture, I get Lucid's viewpoint. They just want to just do the damn job and shorts will naturally leave. So once again, let me know your thoughts on that, or do you disagree with me? Do you think that Lucid should try to either track naked shorting or do something along those lines to deter a lot of this short activity? When it comes down to options, 1.1 or $1.01 million in calls being purchased versus 380 in puts. Sentiment wise though, 48% of all the options today was bearish. So people are slightly more optimistic about Lucid, especially considering it did get stopped at a very strong support. Of the call options that have been purchased today, it does look like there's an anticipation for it to be above $5 by the end of next week, which is the last trading week in the year. And plus it's a short week, just on a side note. But looking at puts though, it is anticipated to be sub $4 by the same time period. So once again, let me know your thoughts. Looking at this, so with it closing at $4.26, it is between this S1 and the pivot. So $4.25, that strong support actually held up today, and that was the low. So once again, that's kind of a good thing. That was the saving grace, because if it did break below that, then it would be trading between this S2 and this S1. So going into next week, that is going to be a strong support. Vice versa, $4.72 is going to be that next strong resistance point that you'll want to watch for. So hopefully the broader market does continue to rally, which will cause Lucid to get off of this S1 and more orient it towards this pivot point right here. So let me know your thoughts on that, if you feel that it might be orienting towards the $5 range going into next week, or if it will break this and maybe trend to the high threes. Kind of extreme, but who knows? That's exactly what is anticipated, both extremes in fact, from the options activity that I just mentioned. Looking at this, number of retail investors have been getting out ever since December the 14th. Stochastic has cooled down quite a lot, so it is at 28 right now, and you do see a deviation. So red line above the black showing a bearish sentiment. So once again, Lucid, the technicals is not down and out. It is lower percentile of the Bollinger Band, so it is kind of underperforming the broader market, which, as you can kind of tell, like I mentioned, down 11%, whereas the S&P, it did close up 0.61% for the week. So it is lagging the broader market, and institutions just clearly are not buying Lucid for whatever reason. A lot of other EVs are doing fairly well, such as Rivian and Tesla, but Lucid, like I said, is just kind of stuck in limbo. What's your thoughts on that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. But one final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo only up until December 31st. Sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So take advantage of that. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.